Alright, on this next video, I want to go over a list of side effects of all the medication I was taking from 98 till, not 98, from 2008 on. And that's when I started dating Molly and taking after the congestive heart failure and all that. And at least 2009. I know. Now, I was with Molly in 2008. In 2009, I had the congestive heart failure at 39, now I'm 47. And I gained 30 pounds of water weight, which is enough to drown an elephant in its own juices. I went from 243 to 273 in 5 days. Now, my next door neighbor, he only gained 5 pounds and they had to call an ambulance on him. I again drove to the hospital on my own. Still fully conscious with 30 pounds of water weight on my chest. And still breathing and functioning somewhat normal and conscious. And I had to do it twice because again I was testing if I needed the medication fully and went off it within a month after. And then I went to see the VA doctors and they took me to the Charleston VA hospital in Charleston, South Carolina. And again, ballooned up another 30 pounds and again, was conscious the whole ride and never blacked out. And again, I'm dealing with other problems because of my hands cramping for some reason, because of the karate and the Abilify for a year or two, and shit like that. Now, I want to read to you side effects of the other medication I was taking, though, so you can understand that. Now, one of them is called Risperidone, which I was taking for the longest. Alright. It is used to treat schizophrenia and symptoms of bipolar disorder. Spelled R-I-S P-E-R-I-D-O-N. And I need the side effects as well of this drug. Weight gain, assholes! Feeling hot or cold, headache, dizziness, drowsiness, tired feeling, dry mouth, increased appetite, feeling restless or anxious, sleeping problems, insomnia, nausea, vomiting, stomach pain, constipation. Sound familiar? Now, most drugs for psychotic episodes or psychotic people make them gain weight. It's not the person's choice. Right? Alright, let's keep going. Now, I would be more on the anti-terror type of schizophrenia, or tremor, I think. Oh. One of the first ones again is Abilify, named Tina, aripiprazole, which I told you I started taking in 2013. That's because I was on other drugs, and they weren't working either. They were all causing me side effects of gaining weight. Now, psychosis is a mental disorder characterized by a disconnection from reality. Schizoaffective disorder is a mental health condition including paranoid schizophrenia and mood disorder symptoms. Bipolar disorder is a disorder associated with episodes of mood swings ranging from depressive low to manic highs. Obsessive compulsive disorder is excessive thoughts, obsessions that lead to repetitive behaviors, compulsions. Major depression, a brain disorder characterized by persistently depressed mood or a loss of interest in activities causes inactivities. Post-traumatic stress disorder, a disorder characterized by failure to recover after experiencing or witnessing a terrifying event, such as EMF King being electrocuted. Antisocial personality disorder, a mental health disorder characterized by a disregard for other people. Anxiety disorder, a mental health disorder characterized by feelings of worry, anxiety, or fear that are strong enough to interfere with normal society. A serious autism, a serious developmental disorder that impairs the ability to communicate and interact. Bipolar II disorder, a less severe type of bipolar disorder characterized by depressive and hypermanic episodes. And that's just some of them. Alright, let me add the word paranoid here. There we go. Now there's other types of schizophrenia. Catatonic schizophrenia, disorganized schizophrenia, paranoid schizophrenia, residual schizophrenia, schizophrenia. So again, what is schizophrenia? Schizophrenia is a serious brain disorder. It is a disease that makes it difficult for a person to tell the difference between real and unreal experiences, to think logically, or to have normal emotional responses to others, and to behave normally in social situations. See, that means if my stepdaughter was to come in there to me and I did something with her, that could be expected because it would be normal, right? But if it didn't happen, that would be more unusual if I asked her who showed her that and she said grandma. But whether I did it or not would mean I was fighting off the disability in a way too. I don't know. All depends, right? Now, one of the drugs names I was taking is Seroquel. I took that for about a year or two before the Abilify. So let's see what that is. What is Seroquel? It's an antipsychotic medication. It works by changing the actions of chemicals in the brain. Seroquel is used to treat schizophrenia in adults and children who are at least 13 years old. Seroquel is used to treat bipolar disorder, manic depression in adults and children who are at least 10 years old. Seroquel is also used together with antidepressants medications to treat major depression disorders in adults. Extended release Seroquel XR is used only in adults and should not be given to anyone younger than 18 years old. Important information. Never take Seroquel in large amounts or for longer than recommended by your doctor. High doses or long-term use can cause a serious movement disorder that may not be reversible. Symptoms of disorder include tremors or other uncontrolled muscle movement. Stop using Seroquel and call your doctor at once if you have the following symptoms: very stiff, frigid muscles, high fever, sweating, confusion, fast or uneven heartbeats, tremors, uncontrolled muscle movement, feeling lightheaded, blurred vision, eye pain, increased thirst and urination, excessive hunger, fruity breath odor, weakness, nausea, and vomiting. Some young people have thoughts about suicide when first taking Seroquel. Stay alert to changing your mood or symptoms. Report any new or worsening symptoms to your doctor, which I always do. Seroquel is not approved for use in psychotic conditions related to dementia. Quetiapine may increase the risk of death in older adults with dementia-related conditions. Before taking this medication, you should not use Seroquel if you are allergic to quetiapine. Seroquel is not approved for use in psychotic conditions related to dementia. Again, it may increase the risk of death in older adults with dementia-related conditions. To make sure Seroquel is safe for you, tell your doctors if you are having liver or kidney disease, heart disease, heart rhythm problems, a history of heart attack or stroke, high or low blood pressure, a history of white blood cell counts, low white blood cell counts, abnormal thyroid test or prolactin levels, seizure or epilepsy, cataracts, high cholesterol or triglycerides, a personal or family history of diabetes or trouble swallowing. Some young people have thoughts about suicide when first taking Seroquel. Your doctor will need to check your progress at regular visits. Your family or other caregivers should also be alerted to changes in your mood or symptoms. Taking antipsychotic medication during the last 3 months of pregnancy may cause problems in the newborn, such as withdrawal symptoms, breathing problems, feeding problems, fussiness, tremors, and limp or stiff muscles. However, you may have withdrawal symptoms or other problems if you stop taking your medication during pregnancy. If you become pregnant while taking Seroquel, do not stop taking it without your doctor's advice. It can pass into your breast milk and may harm a nursing baby. You should not breastfeed while you are using Seroquel. Do not use Seroquel. Do not give it to a child without doctor's advice. Extended release Seroquel XR is for use only in adults and should not be given to anyone younger than 18. Alright, this is the use for bipolar disorder. Immediate release tablets, mainly associated with bipolar 1 disorder or monotherapy, or as adjunct therapy to lithium or Devalproex. Initial dose 50 milligrams orally twice a day. Now I was taking 200 milligrams, and that's what they're talking about now. The dose may be increased to 200 milligrams orally twice daily, or day 4 in increments of up to 50 milligrams twice daily. Further dosage adjustments up to 800 milligrams per day by day 6 should be increased in increments no greater than 200 milligrams per day. Data has been reported to indicate that the majority of patients respond between 400 milligrams per day to 800 milligrams per day. The safety dose of doses above 800 milligrams per day has not been evaluated in clinics. Usual geriatric dose of Seroquel for schizophrenia. Immediate release tablets, initial dose 25 milligrams orally a day. The dose may be increased in increments of 25 milligrams a day to 50 milligrams a day to an effective dose depending on the clinical response and tolerability of the patient. Efficiency in schizophrenia has been reported with doses ranging from 150 to 750 milligrams a day. Maximum clinical effect has been reported at 300 milligrams a day. The safety dose above 800 milligrams a day has not been evaluated in clinical trials, and I was taking in about 400, I think. Extended release tablets, when an effective, or 200 somewhere in there, immediate release dose has been reached above 200 milligrams. The patient may be switched to the extended release formula at an equivalent dose. The efficiency of quetiapine is long-term use over 6 weeks. Has not been studied in clinical trials. Patients who respond favorably to quetiapine may be continued on the lowest dose, which is effective in maintaining their remission. Patients should be periodically reassessed to determine their need for maintenance treatment. Alright, here we go. Side effects. Call your doctor once if you have twitching or uncontrolled movements of your eyes, lips, tongues, face, arms, or legs. Alright, that's most of the normal stuff. Mask. Like appearance of the face, trouble swallowing, problems with speech, a lightheaded feeling like you might pass out, blurred vision, tunnel vision, eye pain, or seeing halos around lights. I've had that before. That was on the Abilify. Severe nervous system reaction, very stiff, rigid muscles, high fever, sweating, confusion, fast or uneven heartbeat, tremors, fainting, high blood sugar, increased thirst, increased urination, hunger, dry mouth, fruity breath odor, drowsiness, dry skin, blurred vision, weight loss, or low blood cell count, sudden weakness or ill feeling, fever, chills, cold or flu symptoms, cough, sore throat, red or swallowing, painful mouth sores, skin sores, trouble breathing. Common Seroquel side effects may include trouble with movement, dizziness, weakness, loss, increased appetite, here it is again, weight gain, sore throat, dry mouth, or nausea, vomiting, stomach pain, constipation. Now, how many drugs have I read that are mentally ill related that cause you weight gain? All of them. All of them. These are the drugs I've been taking since 2009. And, now, before 2009, I was around 200 pounds at the most when I was dating Molly. I know. Or she came and visited me twice in 2008 during the spring and fall. I think. And I was hoping she would come back again in the winter and we could do a carriage ride. If you remember that, Molly. Anyway, but she never did. And then she started accusing me of raping her and shit like that when she was on top. Go figure. But I did come in her and I was trying to stop her from doing that further because I didn't want to get her pregnant because that was making me paranoid because she didn't want to get pregnant by me. We had unprotected sex and she got wet, so I knew she was a real female. So that's what I was worried about. And like I told her then, I don't want to get you pregnant unless you want to get pregnant by me, and you said you didn't want to get pregnant. So I don't know what the hell she had a problem with. Unless you got pregnant anyway and lied and all that shit, I don't know. That's just more theories. There. But she said she wasn't pregnant, and I was trying to make sure she wasn't, and she said she had a test and all that shit, but I don't know. Then she started acting weird like Sheena, or Mary Bell, and like I said, Daphne knew the child Jonathan was my son, and like I said, I got his DNA test in there too, and that's not the problem with Jonathan. Problem is the other bitches, like Molly or Sheena or Mary Bell, and see, they didn't want children with me. They were just playing around and fucking me. And, well, I'm a religious person, Sheena, Mary Bell, and Molly. And, you're a fucking religious person who's trying to find one woman to marry him, which if you are like the King David, you can get pregnant like King David had a bunch of children himself, I know. So did Solomon probably too. And God knows if Solomon had 300 wives and 700 concubines, alone, that's 1,000 together. How many children Solomon had? Goddamn. Imagine that. We all might be of Solomon's line, huh? Seriously. Not even know it. Just a joke. But anyway. There's more side effects. I know. Too. Now, I've been telling you this shit for years on YouTube. I know. Trying to explain to you what I would have to have gone through and what would have had to happen for me to do anything with the stepdaughter while I was sleeping on the couch. I know. Now, I slept on the couch from Monday till I moved back to base. I don't know how long that was. All I know, it was in the month of August when we went to go pick Amanda up. And now, Daphne and Amanda drove home, which is where she should have been prepped to stay in there with her mother all night long, because the mother knew I was schizophrenic anyway, and that's enough time for her to teach the child not to even go in there to me. So, for her to come in there to me would be very strange anyway, when I was sleeping on the couch, right? In a discussion. So, I don't even know what the hell you're trying to accuse me of, half the time, More common side effects are chills, cold sweat, confusion, dizziness, faintness, or lightheadedness with getting up suddenly from a lying or sitting position, sleepiness, or unusual drowsiness. Less common are black tarry stools, blurred vision, changes in patterns and rhythm of speech, chest pain, cough, drooling, fever, muscle aches or sore throat, inability to move the eyes, inability to sit still, increased blinking or spasms of the eyelid, lip smacking or puckering, loss of balance, mask-like face, need to keep moving, painful or difficult urination, puffing or of the cheeks, rapid or worm-like movements of the tongue, restlessness, shakiness in the arms, legs, hands, or feet. Shake it up, baby, now. Twist that child. A little bit of the Beatles. Shuffling walk, slow movement, slurred speech, sore ulcers or white spots on the lips or in the mouth, sticking out of the tongue, stiffness of the arms and legs, which I've been having all that after the Abilify, sweating, swelling of the face, arms, hands, feet, or lower legs, swollen glands, trembling, and shaking of the hands and fingers, like that. Trouble with breathing, speaking, or swallowing. Tongue-tied. Uncontrolled chewing movements, uncontrolled movements of the arms and legs, uncontrolled twisting movements of the neck, trunk, arms, or legs, unusual bleeding or bruising, unusual facial expression, unusual tiredness or weakness. Rare, dry, puffy skin, fast pounding or irregular heartbeat, loss of appetite, menstrual changes for women, tiredness, unusual secretion of milk in females, weight gain. Again, incidents not known, aching or discomfort in the lower legs or sensation of crawling in the legs, had that before, painful or prolonged erections of the penis, well, not painful, because I got pain in my butt, puffiness or swelling of the eyelids or around the eyes, face, lips, or tongue, skin rash, hives or itching, tightness in the chest, tingling of the hands or feet, unusual weight gain or loss, minor side effects. Sometimes it may not need any medical attention as your body gets used to the medicine. These side effects may disappear due to constipation, headache, abnormal vision, acid or sour stomach, belching, decreased appetite, decreased strength and energy, headache, heartburn, increased appetite, increased muscle tone, increased sweating, increased weight gain, indigestion, sneezing, stomach discomfort, upset or pain, stuffy or runny nose. Have all those symptoms. Still, I quit taking the Seroquel a long time ago, and then went to the Abilify, right? Those are my list of medications. The Risperidone was about 3 years when I was living with Teresa too. I know. That was around 2010 to 2011 to 2013, or 2010 to 2013 when Teresa moved in. And again. This is all documented on YouTube, retards. It is. This is documented proof of how I'm dealing with the mental illness of schizophrenia, and I'm still on these medications. At night. Now I'm taking half the dose, or 1/6 of the dose, because all these that make me do sleep somewhat differently, and longer, actually, makes me tired. I don't know if that's one of the side effects of these two, but like I said, taking these two make me tireder, and when I took the two, I slept almost all day. Which again, that's the point too. I know. But these drugs have one major side effect that may or may not go away, and that's weight gain. All of them for schizophrenia. Now, did I write this up? No, it's on the internet for you all to see. And like I said, an unusual situation is if the child came in there and I did something with her, like I said, anyway, that would be somewhat more expected that I didn't. Anyway, which is what I keep telling you. And whether I interacted with her or not would be, in a way, up to her, and her allowing me to or not to. And that's part of the point there too. And if she allowed me to do anything with her after she woke me up, which of course, if I just went to sleep or laid down and turned off the TV, and then, she should have stayed in there with her mom anyway and not come there at all, right? No matter how long it was afterwards, I would have had to wake up with her being there with me. To whatever part she came in there to be with me anyway. It's my job to ask her 2 questions as she comes in there to me. Who showed you that? Right? That's one. And tell her mom if she does. That's all I've been saying I would do anyway. If she did. Ever since Shame on You started accusing me of that. That's what I've been telling him the whole time. I would have to legally, if the child came in there to me at all, ask her 2 questions. Who showed you to come in there to me and you just met me? And 1. If she answered me, that's the guilty party. 2. Or someone associated with the guilty party, like the granddad who might tell her grandma. Again. Then I have to tell my wife what she said. Those are the 2 legal things I would have to do. Now, since, again, we go back to Daphne being contacted by the police and her telling them that never happened, right? So, again, you're saying my wife is lying, I'm telling the truth, something really did happen, out of the 2 stories I told you of how she would have to have woke me up either way. Now, the reason it's 2 stories and not 1 is because when someone comes in there to wake you up, if you're a sensitive enough person, you might could wake up either as soon as they come in there or become aware they're in there with you. And that's one possibility. The other is they have to physically wake you up while you're asleep. Either way is possible, but only one could have happened that night, if it happened at all. And though according to my wife, it never happened. These are just what possibilities. With no proven outcome, if I licked her one time, there would be saliva on her vagina. That could be proven in court if she would call the police, right? And if that happened at all. And if I had sex with her, there would be blood on the floor, because she's 4 years old, she should be a virgin, and semen in her vagina. You take her to the cops, and they can find all that out too. And they do what's called a rape kit. If you watch SVU, hello. This is what happens when a child is raped. And you tell the mom she came in there to you. And that should happen, right? Now, if they found evidence of all that shit, when would I have went to jail? 1994. Right? That's when I'm going to jail. There'll be no ifs, ands, or buts if I raped her. Unless I stopped before I ejaculated, but then there would still be blood on the floor for a 4-year-old. Unless what? She had sex with her grandpa or uncle. Only 2 men in that house when she was living in Arkansas could have had sex with her. That's her granddad and her uncle. They're the only ones with the penis, unless the grandma used a dildo, like I told you before. But maybe she used a white one, huh? Hypothetically. Again, that's the point. This should sound crazy as hell to you, because it does me, and I'm just talking about it erratically like a schizophrenic would. This is what schizophrenics go through every day. trying to figure out fantasy from reality anyway, and dealing with it more positively than you are. I'm still trying to deal with it positively and say how ridiculous this even sounds to me, whether it happened or not. Now, a videotape, if it was in the light, could only look down. If it was in the side, it can only show so much of from the side. That's the point there. I don't know where, a camera could even be hid, except maybe in the light or in the side of the house from one or two angles, right? Now, traditionally, though, they can put it on a little clock or something like that. I don't know. But it all depends on where a camera would be put anyway. Now, if one was in the, let's say, light, hypothetically, I've heard of that before, or a bug or something, I don't know. Just, talking, again, schizophrenic. That's all that is schizophrenia, because the government's not supposed to bug your houses anyway. Unless you're under criminal investigation already for something you didn't do. Yet. And it wasn't your behavior that was seeming abnormal, but your wife's, right? She left you stranded in Tennessee anyway. And that's not you acting radical, that's her. You're trying to be normal, carry on a normal day, wife and husband duties, you're watching TV with her, she's feeding you, you're having a normal relationship until that point. And other than having to get out the room when she was blocking your way and yelling at you, other than that, there was no other interaction that could even have been considered abnormal. Now, after that, your wife left you stranded in Tennessee to meet when you were going to meet her family. Now, that's all I can tell you from a legal standpoint that happened to my knowledge. Now, if this happened, how long would it take to undress the child, lay her on the ground, lick her vagina one time, and show her my penis? Within 30 seconds to a minute anyway. And that's really a quick thing if that's all I did. And to do more would put more saliva on her vagina, would be more DNA evidence, and again. And to do it just one time would leave DNA evidence if I licked her. Now, the other point I made before is I could have simulated licking her and not even touch her vagina, because I know if you touch her vagina, that can be considered a crime. But if she let you undress her, you have sort of a leeway as long as you don't do it more than 2 times. Now, why would you do that? Again, to test the child's interaction with you, and she would let you put your big fat head between her legs. Which means what? Coaching again. Now, that's why I'm telling you this ridiculous story based on what? Special Victims Unit, Law and Order. Since 1999. That's the point. God damn. I keep telling you that. I'm basing it on TV shows with my real life. Now, the difference is I'm using real family members. Because you're accusing me. Because when I came on, I used my half-name Shane Unlucky. Shane's a common name now. So whoever has been doing this has been targeting the name Shane. See that too. Yeah, there's only one Shane Edward Lee from Georgia, and only 2 people, the one at the car accident and the one at the 3-story fall, could implicate anything other than that happening too, and act like I should have survived it and shouldn't be on disability or some crazy shit like that. For one, you're not a medical doctor. For 2, if I'm injured in either one, each one apparently affected me differently after the injury on that. Now, one was a fall from a height of around 30 to 40 feet, depending on the height of the building. 40 at the tallest if it was 15 feet per story, depending on the height of the building. Now, the reason I think it was about 10 to 12 is the length I had to extend myself, which I showed you that too, which is about 7 to 8 feet. Now, if a typical window sill is about 2.5 feet, plus about 4 inches away from it, as I was dangling to try and get on the window ledge, which I remember that too, So that's 4 inches, plus 2.5, which is about 2 feet, 12 inches. well, yeah, 2 feet 10 inches, right? A half is 6 inches, and 4 is 10 plus 8, and we'll put it around 10 feet 4 inches for the third story. Now, like I told you before, the second story was taller by about 12 to 15 feet. The regular first story was about 10 feet, probably there too. And now, what is that total in measurement? 35 feet, right? Right? And 10 plus 15 plus 10 is 35. And, right? So that means technically I fell 27 feet. That's a little around, fully stretched out to about 7 to 8 feet. And let's say 26. And now a typical house in a suburb is 8 feet per story, as is most apartments. Some might make 8.5 to 9. It all depends on that. But the typical house, right in that area of the walk-in of my house, and then I have what's called a cathedral ceiling for my church, and again I have also a unusual ceiling in my bedroom as well, which I showed you all that too. Now again, this is how my house is set up, and that's the point there. So again, where is my crime in all this? When I was asleep on the couch trying to stay away from my wife and daughter that night, or after we got back during a big argument and I didn't want to make up with her either, and I was sick of her shit after that. I don't know how you would feel if your wife suddenly tried to get into a fight with you and you had to physically remove her out the way to get out of the room and pick her up and put her gently on the bed, as gently as you could in that situation, and then on the way to meet her family left you stranded in Tennessee, and you had to call your mom to get home. So there you have the possibilities there again. Now, when she got back, where was I sleeping? On the couch. So that means she went to Sal and Lissetti and his girlfriend for about 3 to 4 days. Then, if I had to stay until I got a room in the barracks, however long after that. But that's not a memory of anything but me sleeping on the couch. Cause what? My wife said it never happened. You're saying it did, which is making me think schizophrenic thoughts about it. Not proof it happened. That's the point. These thoughts are considered schizophrenic. Not reality. I keep telling you that. The more you argue with me that I'm not schizophrenic, yet I'm telling this story, I appear schizophrenic, right? The less you argue with me, and I look normal and not talking about it, the less schizophrenic I appear. Do you not understand that by now? The more you're trying to force me to talk about something that I'm not even sure happened, nor my wife, nor the child, because anyone in this story can come forward, in the story, my wife and the child, and me. Now, I'm the man on totem pole because I was diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia in 93. So again, that means before I met my wife, she knew, and before I met the daughter, she should have known by the mother. So who is responsible? Them, not me. If she even came there at all. It's not my responsibility to protect the child from a known schizophrenic. It's the mother's first. That's her job, not mine, hers. It's also the dad's job to make sure she stays in there with me, not to coach her to come in there to me either. Nor the granddad's job to coach her to come in there to him or the grandma. This is just hypothetical. So, if they were to, and she did really come in there to be in, so only Daphne would know if she really did. Not me. After all this time either. If she said it never happened, what does that mean? It never happened. So you're trying to make me more schizophrenic, which I am by now, by talking about it repeatedly over and over again. And I'm just talking about common things That's why it might appear to you coincidentally that some of the movies that are on TV or coming into the theater appear to be repetitively talking about similar things in the movies that I'm talking about now. That's just common knowledge that I know. Whether it's in the movie or not, I know. Things like that. And part of the point is what? I'm just trying to share information with you that I learned growing up. And that's the point too. All I can do is tell you what I know. As we all can. But I'm an avid movie watcher and TV watcher. And though I don't watch as much stuff as I did then as I do now, I still do pretty much, let's say, about 2 to 4 hours of TV a day. Still, that's still a lot of TV time a day. Then I lay down because of the arthritis pain per day, depending on how much I stress the joints. Then you have pain, and you should either be paralyzed or have the pain, which is the only two options. You're still disabled, right? Now, if paralyzed people are feeling pain and lying about it, I don't know. Or they're really paralyzed. I don't know. Now, paralyzed should mean my legs should be dragging behind me, and I can't move it, right? But if I'm not paralyzed, I would feel pain, right? Which is a result of broken bones or arthritis in the bones. Either way, I'm disabled from that point on, which means I can no longer walk or work or exercise to the same period before the fall. Same with the car accident if I was that severely injured. But in the car accident, I have more faith in Jesus than too. I was still a virgin. Once I had sex with a virgin female, and they were arguing about that too. But again, we would be arguing, not proving anything there either. Because if I had sex with one of Vivian's daughter, and I don't know the age of them anymore, or any real details about that, because I'm amnesia from the car accident anyway, I can't guess what happened. I can only guess what happened. If I woke up in the hospital and told by my mom I was in a car accident, ain't that normally what you assumed happened? From that point on, and they showed you a wrecked car after the fact. There's a wrecked car, Shane. You were in a car accident, right? That's what you think, right? That's logical. Don't mean I have a memory of it either, and that's just what they showed me. And now, if someone attacked me, they would have to go on the lam anyway. Know what I mean? And for at least 7 years. That's called statutes of limitations at that time. Now I tell them that too, and because of the movie Overboard, or not Overboard, but Captain. What's his face? I know the first one Russell played. I don't know. Or Captain with Martin Short and the other woman, where they're in the shower and shit like that. What's that? Captain. You know what I'm talking about, and where they went down to the off of South America to pick up a boat, and they brought it back, and Captain what's his face was supposed to teach him and all that shit to be a sailor and stuff like that, and then anyway, that's part of the storyline. And anyway, they were going up to go to the Caribbean and stuff like that, and they had to worry about the pirates of the Caribbean. shit like that. Captain, what was it, Martin, and or Russell, and Jack, well, not, I don't know. I don't want to be Jack Sparrow, but I'm getting confused. Maybe it was Captain Jack, I don't know. I forget it. Captain something. I'll look it up anyway later on and tell you. I know. But anyway, that movie, I know, could have something to do with me, I know. Too. A lot of them do, I know. But anyway, towards the end of the movie, they did a little line about there being 7 years of statute of limitation for murder, and stuff like that. And I might would have talked to him about that, and now if you knock me out or kill me, you're going to have to go on lab for at least 7 years, and And I was reading it after 8. Again, and someone attacked me. On base, maybe. I don't know. Because whatever happened would have to have happened similar to the car accident. I know. Though again, I blacked out the whole ambulance ride and woke up in the hospital. In a gurney, in intensive care, maybe, or a room somewhere. And then went back to sleep and was released the following day and a half. Which is about 36 hours from there. Or, 36 or 37 hours. 37 hours. Which is a day and a half. A little bit more. That's 12. Plus 12 is 24. Plus 12 is 36. Plus 1 is 37. And then I was released at 1:50 p.m. 2 days later. After the accident happened around 5:30 or so, I guess. I don't know. And again, I was in the hospital by 6:30. And it takes about 30 to 40 minutes, even by ambulance, even if it's going fast, to get to Memorial. I showed you that too. All this is just evidence of my car accident, supposedly, and the 3-story fall, supposedly. And hypothetically there. And the reason it's not hypothetical is I was really living on the 3rd floor. The really reason it's not hypothetical is I remember it. And up to the point I blacked out and woke up in the yard. But again, if it took an hour to get there, or so, because it would take a while after the accident for the ambulance to get to the location, that they would have to get me out the car, into the ambulance, and drive to the hospital. That could be 20 to 30 minutes. In reality. And then another 30 to 40 minutes to get to the hospital. So that means, again, if I got there about 6:30, the accident happened between 5 and 5:30. And that's how they do timelines when you are in an accident or something like that too. And if you murder someone, they want to know when that person died and what all happened to them too. Same there too. Or if you attempt to murder someone, same problem, and can develop. The problem is, if you cover it up to a certain point, it's just going to look like that person is either a fucking Highlander, or was resurrected from the dead, or something else went on, and you didn't even hit him hard enough to hurt him. There too. You may think you're hitting me hard enough to kill me, but maybe you haven't. That's the point there too. Maybe you just hit me hard enough to knock me out and cause amnesia, but you didn't actually kill me. Now, you can also cause someone to be knocked out or lose their breath too. That don't mean they're dead yet. That just means they aren't breathing for up to 5 minutes. If you leave within that 5 minutes because you think you killed them, and you have to go on the lam if you murder someone, like with Captain Jack or whatever that was. I think it was Captain Jack. Yeah. With Kurt and Martin Short. I would have mentioned that too. I think that came out around that time. Let's look at that. Since we ain't doing anything right now. Let's see. Now again, that's not a memory if you have amnesia or something either. That's just piecing together your life up to that point you blacked out and trying to fit the puzzle together. Because you blacked out and you have no real memory loss. Same would be true if the child came in there to me or not and you have a videotape. I'm not saying what happened. You're feeding me the information. That's called, again, leading the witness anyway. And again, you're not supposed to do that during a criminal investigation anyway. Yeah, you can lie to get a confession, but the confession must match from the beginning, too. And if the story changes as you're feeding me more information and I'm trying to figure out what happened hypothetically, and I'm just telling you hypothetical situations based upon what I actually remember versus what you're telling me happened that I don't remember, that's different too. See what I mean? That's just piecing together a possibility there. And, for a possible criminal attack on me. And, now, which is worse? Licking a child's vagina one time and showing her your penis, or someone murdering you in 1986 and trying again in 1994, and 1986, and then again in 1984. Alright. Now let's look up Kurt Russell. And Martin Short. Gatton Ron. That's it. 1992. So maybe not. But anyway, I remember that movie too. Alright. Well, I might would have known about statutes of limitations and things like that. It all depends. Not to my knowledge. Someone just asked me, are you a pedophile? I said, no, not to my knowledge. And, sorry. Hold on, let me do this again. Let's see who it is. Sorry. It's sort of a, let me see what I do with the comment. Anyway, the point is though, I thought it came out in, before 86, but it didn't. It did 92, but again, I don't know if I would have known statutes of limitations or that stuff, but anyway, Mike would have told him because of a Nick Nolte movie though, you have to go on the lam or something, or one of the movies I remember them talking about them having to go on the lam or something like that after the crime was committed with Nick Nolte maybe. And, I don't know, it was something a while back. But anyway, when you go on the lam, that means you have to go into what's called hiding, and you generally don't want to be found if you attempt to murder someone for at least a couple years. And, now, I didn't see David Pelham for a while, nor Johnny, or anyone like that. And, now, I did see my mom and stepdad until I went into the Navy, and even though they divorced and stuff like that. And like I said. And I told you all that stuff too. I know there ain't no need to go into all that, but like I said, I know. Now, how do I know I would know how to interact with my stepdaughter? Anyway, my sister Renee. And now, when I first started watching her, because of how my mom raised me, and especially Big Roddy, I would start spanking her a lot. But I also seen she was getting more rebellious, so I quit doing that and started watching movies with her and entertaining her more. Which worked better, Renee, once we started getting to know each other. The movies, or me spanking you all the time. The movies. Now that's what I learned from helping Marceline raise Renee until I went into the Navy, which is from 1982 to 1990. How long was that, Renee? 8 years at least, right? Right. And again, I was around my sister until I joined the military. And that was from 0 to 8. And now Now, I wouldn't know how to interact with the 4-year-old even if she came in there to meet Daphne. I don't know. Right, that's all I'm saying. I know. Now, if anything more happened, you're the only other witness who can say it happened, not me, anyway. And you would know if something more happened. So, like I said, I don't have a memory of it. You're saying you don't either. So why is this shit still going on YouTube and the people attacking me don't want to let it go? I know. And making me seem more schizophrenic, which everyone knows that by now. What else can I tell you? That you're making me paranoid for real. And it's paranoid schizophrenia, which makes me think the government's involved because I was in the military. And they would have to have a camera in the lighting system too, to at least an overhead one or one from the side. But that still don't prove I purposely would liquor either. Or not. Now, if they have a video, though, they gotta play the whole video out, too. You can't play parts of it or edit it. Another point there, too. So let's say a district attorney or deputy district attorney or someone in the military, again, was trying to set me up to be my stepdaughter, but I stopped in time. But if you know I'm mentally ill, to put that child in danger like that is your responsibility, too. And see, my behavior, if I was molested by Pastor Davison, was in it and they covered it up both ways. That would confuse me further to where I wouldn't know how to react to the child too. See, my behavior, because of my own interference that happened before all this occurred, is because of what happened with Christian Fellowship Church and other people like that, religious organizations. Now, the thing is, instead of blaming them, I just studied more into the Word of God. That's what it looks like I did, and just read it more, and in other religions too, and I didn't show any bias, really, and I learned about them all a little bit, and not saying I'm a Muslim, not saying I'm a Hindu, not saying I'm a Buddhist, not saying I'm a Shintoist, or a Christian anymore. I believe all. I sort of believe you all little, and I also say you're all making up your own rules. That's what I mean. I see some of you more angry and murderous than others too. Even the Christians can get murderous if you don't agree with them and want to call you witches and shit like that. For not agreeing with them. Like they're perfect or something. Now, unless you're reading to me the whole Bible every day and you understand it verbatim, which means word for word, everything in it, and you're not teaching me parts of it, but the whole thing, that's one thing, too. But if you're only teaching me parts of the Bible that you want me to hear, that's called a lie. So even though Paul said we know in part and prophesy in part, he was still telling you many things in that part that he was talking about there. He was still in part and in part. Now, what do? You compare the part Paul said to the part in the Old Testament too. That's two parts, the Old and the New. Then you read them both to get an accurate portrait of the whole story. That's what I did. That's what you did. That's why I think I know what really happened the whole 2,000 years. Because I studied, like Paul said, to show myself approved unto who God, a workman that needeth not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. Also combining it with science. Not fiction, mind you. Real science. Real science. Ooh. Lots of pots and pans, I don't people understand. Anyway. That's the point. So you have no eyewitnesses to anything happening between me and the child, but the child. Now, if the mother was setting me up, she can't go in there immediately. She has to give me time to either have sex with her or not. Now, if I asked the child who showed her that, and she said, "Grandma," that would unravel everything they were doing to me, right? And they couldn't bring forward charges. Even if I was to confess it, which I'm not, because it's not a memory. It's a possibility, because my wife denied it too. Then she's committing perjury first because I'm schizophrenic, and she now realizes she shouldn't let her go in there at all. That's what it would appear like there too. Again, what hypothetically, from my perspective, But if she remembers something happening, she's lying, not me. I know. That's the point there too, right? So, again, whoever's attacking me here is just attacking me nonchalantly, like it's a memory, when it's not. I know. You've been feeding me information, I've just been telling you about my whole life. That's all. Now, if I interacted with the child that briefly, which looking at her one time and showing her my penis would only take a few seconds anyway, to no more than a minute. Now, if the child didn't say nothing until I asked her who shared her that, and she said grandma immediately, she didn't ask me for water or food. Two things that the child could have wanted instead of possible sex. Now, why would a 4-year-old approach an adult who was asleep on the couch for sex? She wouldn't. So Daphne is either right or I'm right in saying it never happened, right? Who's right? You tell me, unless you have a videotape of the whole thing. The videotape shows everything that happened, though, too. You can't edit it, you can't change it, you can't fast forward it to the places you like, or shit like that either. You gotta show me, Daphne, and the child alone the video, and bring charges first against the wife for knowing I'm schizophrenic, then against the daughter for coming in there illegally and being coached, and then me. If we interacted at all, which according to Daphne, which is perjury if we did, first, because she's trying to cover her ass, not me mine, if I'm piecing together the story at all, Though, to me, this is still not a memory, but a blackout period. When I was supposed to be asleep, which is also why I would say that would just seem like a weird dream, whether it happened or not. And I can piece it together through my personal history involving a 12-year-old, my cousin, who was a year older than me, and another girl across the street. That, in my mind, really happened before I joined the Navy. You can't disprove that. That's my testimony of a memory I had before I joined the Navy. When I was growing up and walked in on my parents, Bobby and Marceline, having sex. And then me and my cousin Pam all got in trouble because of that. Because I tried to do it with her that I saw my mom and dad do. Now my mom also said I also tried to show my penis to another girl with Debbie present, her friend. So that means I was already acting out sexually towards females. That's the point. I was always attracted to little girls. Now I'm a grown man and know it's wrong. So that's no problem anymore. I've grown out of that shit. I was only with 18-year-old women or older, even Maribel. Now, if Bart was with her, he was with her when she was 17. He committed statutory rape. Not me. But he did. Now, if I got her pregnant, which was a year and a half later, she was around 20. Dude. She could have said she was 21 because of her birth certificate and even got a fake ID because she's really 20. So she sort of had a fake ID herself. She was 21 on the ID, but 20 in reality because of her birth certificate. Right, Maribel? Remember all that? That's a memory. That's something I remember actually happened. This is just piecing together a puzzle you're trying to feed me. Not memory, piecing it together. Slowly over 12 to 22 years. Total. 10 to 22 years. With you not bringing forward any charges all that time, too, if you have a video. Which means what? Entrapment. And I've seen the movie Entrapment with Sean Connery and who? Michael Douglas's wife, Catherine Zeta-Jones. Now, I'm what? An upright citizen. I obey all the laws I know to the letter. And if she was to come in there to me, and I'm piecing it together, what could be on the tape, that's different too from a memory. You know that too, right, asshole? Fake prosecutor, fake DA. If you were to bring forward charges after 22 years, what would happen? A, you would be disbarred. B, any case you brought forward before then would be rejected, and C, you would be a disgrace to the DA. You know that, right? You would be what's considered a corrupt district attorney. You would be worse than the people who committed the Salem witch trials and the Inquisition together. Because you were trying to set up an innocent man who was sleeping on the couch independently from his wife and stepdaughter in the first place. Legally. That's entrapment. That's not my normal behavior to even entice a 4-year-old to come in there to me. And if she did it voluntarily and I asked her who showed her that, only. And she said grandma. And that's the only audio on the tape. Besides me and Daphne talking afterwards, if there's a tape, why haven't you brought forward charges after all this time? Because of the tape exonerating me and not the mother or the child, because you what? Want me. You can't get me because it's your setup. It's your asshole. You fucked up, not me. You were trying to entrap a paranoid schizophrenic who was a known paranoid schizophrenic by the Navy and you. You were trying to entrap me if there's a tape. So like I told you before, you better destroy that tape and not let anyone fucking see it ever again, because you're blackmailing me like it was my fault. But the really ones who are the culprits are you and Daphne if you were trying to set me up. That's the point there, retard, hypothetically. And you're not supposed to allow her to endanger the child either. And if you know I'm mentally ill enough to maybe start something with her, what you might not know is I'm also mentally aware enough to stop it, too. And see, that's where you fucked up. And you thought I would go completely through with it, but I didn't. And I came to my senses, which is called temporary insanity anyway. And legally. I'm proving my situation was temporary insanity. Hers was not. And she was either sitting there by her mother and you, or not. Which is why Daphne has to deny it. Because it would be on her head and yours. Mr. District Attorney at the time, or Assistant DA, or whatever you are, Deputy DA, whatever you are. Even if you were just some cop on the beat, even if you were someone in the military police, you were trying to set me up for something I wasn't prepared for in the middle of the night after I went to sleep. That means Daphne either heard me snoring, or I just turned off the TV, and then within a few minutes of that, she's sitting the child in there to me. Which is what? Entrapment. That's still not a memory. That's still piecing together your abuse of me. You trying to set me up. You're not a district attorney. District attorneys would know better. District attorneys do know the law. And that would fuck up any district attorney's case. So like I said, I'm just being hypothetical with all this still. And if I still look like a schizophrenic, that just means I still was schizophrenic then and she knew about it. And I'm still a schizophrenic now and she still knows about it. So there's a child. So do you. So does the whole world that's watching this shit. But it's just shit. It's no proof. It's no actual DNA evidence that Tommy even had licked her one time or simulated licking her one time. There's a difference there too. Simulating lick her one time means no saliva was on her vagina. Licking her one time would have left saliva on her vagina. That's the difference there too. Did you collect a DNA sample of my saliva being on her vagina? If you did not, my lawyers can argue that. For me and my defense against you. Because I'm innocent until proven guilty beyond all reasonable doubt. Today, not Inquisition, not Salem witch trials, asshole! Not the kings of Europe or England. We live in America, sir, where I'm innocent until proven guilty beyond all reasonable doubt. And even the officer, if he's among drug dealers, might have to store a lot of cocaine to prove to the drug dealers he's not a cop. That's still entrapment in a way too, but it's also legal because if he only does one line, that's the point there about licking her one time. Versus having to do multiple lines. That's the hypothesis there. Now again, if you got a gun to your head, or you're sleeping on the couch peacefully, and your child comes in there, you're groggy and just woke up, you're not sure what she wants, and you interact with her in any way, you're trying to see why she's in there with you. You ask her who showed her that, and she says grandma. Then you go in there and tell your wife, because that's your responsibility if she does. Where did I do anything wrong? Not a thing, not a thing. You did me wrong by trying to put me in that situation in the first place, just like with the car accident, just like with the 3-story fall, just like with all that shit too, asshole! And you can't prove shit unless you got a DNA sample then. Because I'll never lick her vagina again, even if I did one time. And I wouldn't try to lick it, I was thinking she would let me lick it. There's a difference there too. Now this message isn't for anyone else but you, motherfucker. Prove it. I did it. With a video from overhead. At the worst. Or most, you could have done at the time in 1984. Now, a video overhead would only show me going down and up. I know. A video overhead would show me backing away from her and showing my penis, maybe. I know. Again, hypothetically, I know. Because of the distance between me and the couch, I know. And what I would do there, I know. Not a memory, a memory. But of the situation and the actual area I was in. That's piecing together an amnesic point of view. Amnesia means you don't remember anything. Medically, because of either a trauma close to the event or after the event. Which I have both. So, medically speaking, I'm in the clear. You and Daphne are busted, asshole. Not me. That's the whole point, hypothetically. And unless you gathered the DNA sample then, in 1994, I would never lick Amanda's vagina consciously again after one time. And you could never make me lick Amanda Bliss-Cessetti's vagina again. Unless you, give her a fake ID and send her down to Georgia. That's the point. I wasn't trying to do anything with the child, whether something happened or not. Now, I'm basing it upon Daphne's testimony, not my own as well. So, Daphne and you are still committing perjury. Perjury in a mock trial, too. Which is like Perry Mason or shows of that nature, too. See, I've watched everything. I don't know about you, and I don't know if this is real. So that's where we go back and forth with this shit. I'm paranoid, schizophrenic since 1993, and they did a full medical diagnosis on me, including psychologically. Though it was a psychologist, not a psychiatrist, which is what Portsmouth was saying. And then Bethesda said, no, I was bipolar, but it did not exist prior to injury. Then when I got on VA, they said I was schizophrenic then, too, which was in 99. From 99 on, Law and Order Special Victims Unit came out. Then in around 2003, I started doing my blogs and going on the internet. That's still 4 years for Law and Order and all that shit too. So where's my crime? But to tell you what I've seen on TV. And piece together a possible connection there. Which is called leading the witness. You can't do that during a trial. This is not the Salem witch trials either, where you can accuse an innocent victim who doesn't have a clear memory of anything happening either. Nor is it the Inquisition, where you can just charge anyone with being a witch or schizophrenic or shit like that, or whatever the problem you have with me, because I know a lot too. That's called paying attention to society, reading books, and entertaining myself. Now, when I go up in public, I'm a law-abiding citizen every day. Even when I'm in private, I'm a law-abiding citizen talking to you as a human being. Every day. Things are getting faster, growing faster than a roller coaster. Love like yours will surely come my way. That's James Taylor. Right. Now, I grew up in the real world. I don't know what world you grew up in. I grew up in a world where I was entertained by TV, movie, comedies, music, and entertainment. And I don't know about you. Now, I started in elementary school learning simple sing-along. Then I learned to sing with the people on the radio. Then I went in choir from 8th to 10th grade and band from 6th to 9th grade. And 4 years for band and 3 years for choir, which were overlapped each other, for a total of 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th grade. That's 5 years of choir and music and band. 5 years! I remember it all. I remember it all. All I learned, and I'm teaching you. That's all. That's all. Now, I never went to college for that shit. Now, college focuses on more making your own music and shit like that. Well, I never went. I'm teaching you what I learned in high school. From 6th grade to 10th grade. That's 5 years of schooling. In music. That's why I know what I know about music. To the point I know it. And I'm critiquing the singers. I'm teaching them to sing their own music if they're using autotune or not. And if they're freestyling their music, I'm teaching them I can do that too. And 3 little birds sat by the window. That's Kobe Calais. In the midnight hour, she cried more. That's Billy Idol. With the rebel, yeah. More. And I can match the actual recording. That's why I'm a good person. And you're not. You're the one trying to make me a bad person when I'm a good person because you're trying to cover up your crime since 1986. I'm not. I didn't do a crime until then. And if I did, it was after then because of confusion about the car accident. And again, I made some mistakes normally because of a head trauma, which will be natural with a head trauma. And head trauma can also give you a mental illness that you didn't have prior. And that's the point too. So you can't disprove me doing anything wrong, but whatever happened in 1994 and 1986 and 94 was a physical assault on my body, which is attempted murder. And now, do I remember who you are? I have amnesia. And also about the child, I have amnesia. And that's not a memory. And that's piecing it together based upon you attacking me every day. And they're two different things. Now, there's a song they used to sing in Christian Fellowship Church called Picking Up the Pieces of My Life, and it was Pam Thomas Debbie who would sing it. And it goes like this. Picking up the pieces of my life, making new releases just in time. I think that's how it went. Been a while since I've thought about it, but anyway. That's what I'm doing, picking up the pieces of my life. Trying to figure out what the fuck's going on here on YouTube, why the fuck you're attacking me, and what the fuck this is all about. Is it entrapment? Is it them trying to prove I did something I don't remember doing? What's going on? Who does it involve? Pastor Thomas, Pastor Davis, pastors from the Bible Baptist Church, or everyone's trying to cover up molestation in the church. From the Baptists to the Catholics to the Christian Fellowship Church, which is Pentecostal based. That's 3 denominations in the church. And Joyce Myers was raped by her dad, who read Lot's Daughters. Sorry, Joyce. Don't mean to bust your dad out, but he's an asshole. And you can be righteously angry about that, Joyce, as long as it don't go down upon your wrath. And wrath and anger are 2 different things in the Bible. And wrath is uncontrollable rage. Anger is righteously when someone does you wrong. And they're not supposed to do that to you. You can be angry with your dad, Joyce, but sin not. Let not the sun go down upon your wrath. I'll be angry with the motherfuckers who are trying to rape me too. And I'll kill his ass if he tried to do it hand to hand. And he'd be a dead motherfucker for trying. And if he had a weapon, that would be the only way he could beat me. And if he had a weapon, I would make him use a weapon on me, because I wouldn't put up with that shit like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, or Jesus, or any character in the Bible who was willing to die for the Lord and was resurrected from the dead. But I don't judge you for being afraid in that situation and not knowing what to do, because most people don't. And it's very confusing because they're trying to manipulate you into doing something you sort of know is wrong, but they use the Bible sometimes to justify it, don't they? The evil they're doing to you. And yet you know it's evil, and you know it's not the real word of God, don't you? Don't you? When they're doing it. They're confused about what Jesus came to do. And they're sinning willfully with Satan, not God. And God does not sin, nor does he tempt man with sin. God is love. God is love. Love never does you wrong. And even if you're hurting someone else, it won't hurt you. And no matter how grisly you want to get with that person, like me. Right? They got pretty grisly the second time, because they almost destroyed my pelvis and ankle. They focused again on the left side like dumbasses, which is true with the car accident. From here to here is missing. And you're supposed to feel bones from here to here too. I don't. That's called your spinal cord. That means my spinal cord is out of alignment because they hit me with such force it knocked my spinal cord out of alignment. Which caused not only head trauma if you survived it, but schizophrenia as well. But I didn't go fully schizophrenic until 93 because I didn't hear voices until then, after Sheena rejected me for writing her and telling her what Christian Fellowship Church taught me, and only sending her letters of religious spaces. And what Christian Fellowship Church had shown me in the Bible. And, now, I don't mean I looked at it how they did perfectly either. And then I started reading it on my own around the time I got out of the Navy and worked for 2 years too. And I read the whole Bible 5 times within 2 years. Like Paul. But in English. And by the time I was disabled, I still tried to work with Catherine a little bit, but it was more part-time work, which is allowed until you get fully disabled. And I couldn't carry those jobs. And Catherine even paid me unemployment. And because I was an employee for the company and not necessarily for working position. And because I wasn't really a temporary laborer, and she did that for me too. And now she don't normally do that for anyone, but she did for me. Thanks, Catherine. Or Catherine Stevens. Now, again, I don't know Mary, her daughter either. And I know she has a daughter and married someone else too, so I don't think it's her either. Nor am I trying to find the wrong woman anymore. A dream, depending on the contents, means you're supposed to witness with somebody, not necessarily have sex or marry them either. I'm just telling the truth about the women I did have sex with. I might could have gotten pregnant according to the birth weight of Patrick and the fact that Jonathan is my son too. When I thought he wasn't. While dating Marybeth. Now the reason I didn't know is what? What's that called? Confusion because of the paranoid schizophrenia. Too. And hearing voices after 93. Now, if I was hearing voices constantly, and I'm an honest person, I would have came forward then. Now, if I had a religious experience that's in the Bible, I would associate that with the Bible, right? Until I got involved with Christian Fellowship Church too. And all they even did was make me believe it more, not less, even though Pastor Davis touched my ass. Though I didn't get hard, which is probably what he was going for. To say I get hard. I did not. He couldn't make me hard. He was a fat old man anyway, with white hair anyway. Which again, that gives me credit for checking out the child if she came in there to me anyway, to see if it was to have sex with me, and why I would ask her who showed her that, and that would be on a tape, video, or audio. So you know I told the truth. Who's still lying? You and Daphne. And Amanda. And now the whole family. But I'm still telling the truth I told then as I'm telling it now. But I'm not lying. I didn't even sure if I licked her fully either. Because I wasn't trying to lick her. I was seeing if she would let me lick her. There's a difference there too. One time does not make a crime. One time, if you're allowed to do something and don't do it again, is considered grace. Now that's not rape, and that's not consensual sex either. Those are two different things. You cannot rape someone at all, I know. But gently licking a child's vagina is not a violent act, nor showing her your penis for a few seconds if she's just laying there taking in the sights. She's not supposed to do that either, like the other little girl. See, like I told you when you attacked me in 86 and 94. You don't know my whole life unless I tell you it. Now, to you, this might make me look like I'm schizophrenic from the beginning. I don't care. It's what I really went through in my mind. And you can't change my memory of it any more than I can change your memory of your life. Which, if you attacked me, it was because of your memories, not mine. And what happened to you before you met me. Which made you attack me, not me you. Which made you the attempted murderer, not me. Now, which is the worst crime? Murderer, or someone licking someone's vagina one time. Murderer. No hands down. No hands down. Trying to murder me because you think I'm not worthy of something ain't your business. You not to judge, these you be judged. Do. When you judged me, you took the power out of your own hands too, if I was telling the truth. You don't want to accept that either. If I'm telling the truth and you're still lying, you're going to get punished in the end, not me. I keep telling you that. Because I'm telling the truth and you're lying. The truth I learned. The only truth you can know. Bye.